So today we're going to be looking at what I consider to be the best all-round lure. Now that doesn't mean to say it's the best lure for any particular species, but it is the best lure, or what I consider to be, for catching many different species. So you're not sitting there just fishing for, say, cod and not being able to catch much else, or fishing just for bass and missing out on other fish which come past. So we'll start off by looking at some of the lures that are out there. I mean, obviously you've got things like your perks here, which you have various sizes. I mean, this one here is a very big one, which they use for wreck fishing for large cod and ling, that kind of thing. You have ones like this, which are much lighter. They use these up in Scandinavia for catching salmon and sea trout, that kind of thing. And you come down to your wedges, which they use quite often from the shore for casting, spinning, that kind of thing. And you go on to spinners, and there's a multitude of different spinners. They work for various species. And then we've got the more modern type of ones, which are like a jelly kind of fish. You've got this one here, it's just a little tiny thing. They've got a little lead head in them, so they're good for casting as well. You've got the old Muppets, which used to be used a lot for wreck, cod, that kind of thing. Then you have this, which is kind of half plastic, half jelly, used for catching bass, that kind of thing. Mackerel lures. Well, for catching mackerel, but they will catch herring and sandeel and a few other species. You'll get a few pollock and things grabbing onto them. And then these type of things, which I use quite a lot. They catch mainly bass and pollock and coalfish, that sort of thing. I mean, they all work. They're all pretty good, you know. I mean, if I was going for bass, I'd probably use these sort of things. Cod, I'd use the perks. Shore fishing, I mean, I've used these little spinners, even caught bream on them. So everything, you know, has a use. I mean, there are a lot of lures out there, obviously, like these sort of things, that quite often they look really good, but they don't swim very well, or they spin in the water. That's why they don't catch. They, you know, they're normally ones that have been made really badly. And there are a lot of lures out there that are actually designed to catch the fishermen and not catch fish at all. You know, you look at it and think, wow, that looks good, but to a fish it probably looks terrible. So, what do I think is the all-round lure? Now you're sitting there thinking, oh, he's going to try and sell us something. Now he's made something that he's going to, you know. Well, no. What it is that. No, it's not a joke. That is actually a piece of cable insulation. You know, any old electric cable, telephone cable, computer cable, whatever. You just take the wires out, cut that off clean, slope the cut on the back of that, and that's it. Basically, it goes on the hook like this. Now you cut it so it's longer than the hook, and then when you push it on the hook, just push it down so it gets a little bit of a curve at the bottom, and that's basically it. Now you can use that from the shore casting singly with a little weight further up. You could probably put it on a lead head even. I haven't really tried much on the way ashore, but I guarantee you it will catch. And what I do is use it on the boat a lot, and I'll just get a bit of line. There we go. So what I do with that is I take a line like this. This is about £30. And I'll put a swivel on the bottom, like an American snap, one that can break out if you hit the bottom with your lead. Because you will be dropping these lures into, well, a mixture of ground. You can put it in sand or you can go straight into rocks. Just don't stay in the rocks. So then what you do is you come up, say about, ooh, I don't know, a foot, maybe 30 centimetres, something like that, and then put a loop in it, just like that. Now, make sure when you do the loop that you wind the loop twice. Now you can do any kind of knot you like, you can do all your fancy knots in the world if you prefer, but this is just a quick way. You can make these up on the boat really quick, and then you just pull the knot. Now you double it so it doesn't slip and it can't pull free, because otherwise if you do it singly they'll slip and it'll tighten up against the lure. Then what you do is you just take that loop that you've made and you pass it down through the lure, making sure the sloped end's at the bottom, and then literally feed that loop through the eye of the hook and over the hook. It's as simple as that. Like that. And then what I tend to do is I tend to get that hook, and you probably can't see it very well here, but I mean I'll do it on the edge of the table, but I hook it onto something so it's like that, just so you're able to slide down. And you're best to do it on an old workbench or something. Don't do it on your good table at home, you know, £1,000 oak table or whatever you've got. And then you just slide the hook like that, and that'll keep everything perfect. Just make sure you push it down so you get a slight curve in it. That gives it a bit of movement. And then it's set up just like a macro line. You've got your swivel at the bottom, down here, and then you come up to that. And then what I would do is go up another 20 centimeters or 30 centimeters, whatever. It depends on the size of the hook, just so the hooks aren't touching. Just give yourself a bit of space between each one, like a macro line. And do the same again. Put about 3 on a hook. If you're using, say, if you're using 680, I wouldn't do more than 3, 4 at the maximum, because if you get 3 or 4 double figure fish on that, and they'll start pulling, you're liable to snap off and lose your fish. And that's why you use heavy line as well. And part of the reason for using heavy line is that when they hang, they don't twist up around the main line. They will literally stand out from the line. Now this loop, you don't need to have a loop. What you can actually do is you can get a pair of scissors, I might have set here, and where that loop is, where you've got your double line, you can cut one and just have it on a single line, just tie the hook on, same thing, slide it up the line and tie the hook on, slide it back again. So it's entirely up to you the way you want to set that up. You know, it's personal preference. I've never actually found any difference between having a double line or a single line. They all catch, and it's never seemed to put the fish off. They still hit these little lures. Now, as far as these pipes goes, it doesn't matter what colours you use. You can choose whatever you like. I've got a white one here, but that's kind of like a lot of electrical cable is that colour, and grey, black. Black works quite well for pollock. You'll find different ones work for different fish. Red tend to be quite good for the mackerel. White works quite well for bass. You know, it's just personal preference. It's trial and error. In your area, it all depends on the fish. I mean, these lures I use around the UK waters, so I haven't tried them abroad, but I'm sure they would work. And of course, in various countries we've got various colours, fish. They'll have preferences of what colour you use. So it's all about trial and error. But the thing is, it's not quite often about the colouring that I find. It's more about how they move. And when you get 3 of these going up and down, you've got to keep this moving, going up and down, moving around the tide, and they all move in uniform. It looks like a small shoal of fish, and they do get hit. And as you'll see, I'll add on some footage of fish that I have caught, and you'll be able to see exactly how well these catch. And like I say, they are good all-rounder. I mean, this will take a bass, this will take a pollock, it'll take a longnose, mackerel, you name it, it'll catch it. And it's only the varying size of hooks. If you're going to target specifically pollock and bass, cod, that kind of thing, put big hooks on. Go up to even 8.0 hooks, and you'll find that they really will work well. And if you're going for mackerel, that will obviously come down to sort of 4.0s or smaller hooks for that kind of thing. You know, it's entirely up to you. Just base your hook size or your lure size on the fish you're targeting. Just look at the size of its mouth. That's all you need to do. So anyway, I'll tell you what I've actually caught on, well, a list of some of the fish I've caught on here. There's obviously more, and there will be continuing more. I mean, I'm still, you know, to this day catching new species on these. So, you'll catch mackerel, you'll catch scad, you'll catch garfish, Spanish mackerel, bonito, herrings, sand eel, pollock, bass, ballan wrasse, cuckoo wrasse. You will catch cod, ling, and coalfish. Gurnard, you'll catch red, tub gurnard, and squid. Now, all those species I have actually caught. There is many more species that I probably would catch on these, but I haven't tried for those sort of areas yet. And of course, if you live abroad in different areas, you're going to have all your own species, like I don't know what sort of fish you get, groupers, snappers, that kind of thing. They'll all probably attack this. I mean, this basically is just imitating a small fish, and that's all you need. You can have all this fancy colourings and whatnots on here, but you just really want the movement. I mean, in our waters as well, once you get to a certain depth, colour goes out of the equation. You don't see colour after a certain depth. So you're just looking at shadows basically, blacks, whites, this sort of thing. So you're going for that movement. That's what entices the fish. I mean, in tropical waters, yeah, probably colour has something to do with it, but also we've got to remember, fish have a lot more cones in their eyes than humans do. So this colour to me would look totally different to a fish. So getting the right colour of what his prey's like can be tricky. You know, at the end, it's mostly trial and error. And sometimes I've even found that, you know, this will work even on this island. One end of the island, oh, it'll catch loads of fish. You go to the other end, it's useless. So again, it's trial and error. But these, like I say, all round, no matter where I've used them, they catch fish, and they catch a lot of fish. And you know, if you get a take on these on your line, usually you're going to get 2 or 3 fish as well, not just one fish. If you've got 3 hooks, chances are you could get 2 or 3 in one go. And they do catch a lot, like I say. The moment you go into a shoal of fish, they'll pick up a lot, whereas this you'll pick up one, but then you drift off the fish and it's gone. And like I say, primarily I use them from the boat, but I'm almost guaranteed these will work from the shore. So it's just a case of getting out there and trying them. And the other bonus with this is that it's electric cable, you know, you can catch a lot of fish. Right, so we'll go on to the video of the fishing now. Well, there you go. This is about an hour's fishing using nothing more than some old cable, or the sleeving off old cable, and you can see that the biggest one there is probably around 4.5–5 pounds, I'd say. But all in all, good sized fish.